Hello, hello! How is everyone today? I cannot start yet because I am going to show off my new model. I'm a little bit nervous and my computer's trying to fly away, but we'll deal with that. How is everyone? Anyone in chat? I hope this works properly. I'm not completely sure that it will, but let's try it out. Oh no, that is not what I wanted to do. Let's go. Alright, so I've got my model here and I'm gonna show it off. I don't know how to do this like a professional VTuber, so I'm just gonna do it like a stupid. So let's see. Hello. Hello, hello. How are we? Up I come. Alright, here's my new model. Show off the head and the body. This is my new model. I've got my tattoos. Technically I don't have all these tattoos yet, but that's because I don't have enough money. But yeah, here's my new model. Ain't they cute? Let me pull them up a little bit more. Yippee! There's more model, but I probably won't show past there. But there's up to there. And then, yeah. This is my new model. Ain't they cute? Their eyes follow my mouse around the screen. But yeah. Isn't it so cute? What do you guys think? I hope it works the whole time. It's a little bit more straining on my computer than a normal PNGTuber, but like, look how cute it is! I rigged it all myself and I'm so proud. Eventually I'll add more expressions, but I don't tend to change expressions on stream because it messes with game controls and whatnot, and I don't have a stream deck, so yeah. I'll probably play around a little bit with the settings and get some more stuff going with it, but look how cute this is! Let me know if anything messes up or anything, because my computer is trying to fly away with this. It's got like a little bit of jankiness to it if I move my mouse like really fast, but it's pretty cute. I'm pretty proud of it. Look how cute they are. Yee! Thank you, Cord. I am so proud of it. I'm probably gonna open up commissions to make other people this version of a PNGTuber. I feel like it's kind of a mix between a PNG and a VTuber, like nice little in-between, because it like follows stuff around and it has tracking and rigging and stuff like a live 2D model would, but then it's not quite a live 2D model because it doesn't have face tracking. I don't really quite know the difference, but I think this one's a little bit of an in-between. Like, it's not just a PNG that moves between, it has animations and stuff to it, but it doesn't have face tracking, so I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, but here they are. Sorry if I like am moving my eyes around too much. I'm genuinely impressed with how it looks, so I keep like wiggling my mouse around to watch it track. It's so cute. But yeah, I hope you guys like the new model. I think it's pretty stinking adorable. It'll definitely get more edits and stuff. I plan to at least do a corrupted version and like a normal human, not magical girl version. Well, not quite human. It'll still have angel wings, but like the manga style, not magical girl version. So yeah, I plan to at least make those two versions probably for YouTube video sakes, and then hopefully I'll add some different hand and facial expressions to make it more expressive. Yeah. So yee! I hope you guys like it. And for today, I'm not going to be doing too much. I'm just going to be going through a little PowerPoint presentation about my Magical Girl universe and sharing it with you guys because I felt like it. And we kind of went on a whole talk last drawing stream about my Magical Girl stuff, and I had fun yapping about it, so I'm going to do that today. And I have a lot of information and PowerPoints and whatnot, so why not share them? Yeah. Excuse me. I just had my dinner, so my throat's a little sore, but we'll be alright. Give me 2 seconds, I'm gonna drink some water and then pull up my PowerPoint. Okie dokie. Oh my god, Cord, yes. Obsess again, let's go. I'm gonna bring you back to the magical girl world. Don't break it. I'm already breaking it. I need to be over here, maybe? Not sure exactly where will look good. I'll jump over here. Squish down a little bit. I think that should be okay. And then let's capture... Where are we capturing? Capturing this. Yippee! Alright, I think I'm in a decent spot for this to work. Hello! Hello, June. Is it Azalea? Azalea June? Let me know what you'd rather be called. But yeah. Let me plop my windows over here. Sorry, I'm doing a little bit of setup still. Trying to figure out what looks nice. Probably scoot over a little bit. There we go. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Thanks, Sue. What a good mod. Man, I have the best mods. You guys tell people to do more than I do. But yeah, here's my PowerPoint presentation. I need to pull up a second window quickly to have a look at my notes because I made a lot of notes. New window. Is that gonna... No, that's not gonna mess with anything. Okay, cool. Let me know if the stream goes funky for any reason. I have it open on a different tab as well to look at, but I'm not 100% sure how it looks, so let me know if it goes silly. I have it open in a YouTube window on my phone, so I can look at it, but obviously YouTube's a bit delayed. Just spam me if it's going crazy. Where's my notes? Where are my notes? What the... Where? Ah, there we go. Okay. I lost my notes. Here we go. Okay. So, let's get into talking about Falling Starlight. Hey, MC! So, let's get into it. Cord's probably gonna know the most about it because Cord's the person who listens to me ramble the most, and they also have like their whole own story to it and everything, so yeah. Time to get into some story, some backstory. Okay, Falling Starlight explained. This may take many hours. This is meant to be a short stream, but you know, I'm not good at concisely explaining things. I'm gonna do my best to not go crazy, but Cord will help me stay on track, right, Cord? But getting into it, this is what I'm gonna be talking about. So I'm gonna give a little disclaimer about the story. There's nothing crazy that happens in it. It's more disclaimer about how the story is and how it's not really finished. I'm gonna talk about some universe backstory, the implants, the types of species in the world, my sonar, how to create your own sonar, and then I'll open up a little Q&A about it. My disclaimer, where are my notes? Here. So, this story, Falling Starlight, is in development, and I do not know everything about it, and I have not figured out every little piece of the lore, so give me a little break when things don't make sense. I am doing my best to figure it out and make a cohesive, pretty, lovely story, but it's mostly just a fun backstory for my YouTube sonar right now, which means, you know, it doesn't really matter if everything's perfect. If it ever moves outside of YouTube or for anything like actually important, like a game or a show or a comic or anything like that, there will be many changes. But yeah, everything's still evolving. The reason I'm sharing it is because I really like collaborating on it. I like when people make their own stories, especially when Cord made their whole own story, so, you know, I just wanted to share the story so far, in case anyone wants to add to it or make their own little things to it. Yeah, that's my disclaimer. This is mostly just for fun, so don't pile on me when things don't make too much sense, but I'm doing my best to make sure the story is good and well thought out. On to the backstory. Some universe lore, if you will. Sorry, just drinking some water. So, inspiration. This story takes heavy inspiration from the worlds and lore of Prism, which was created by Ginger Ninja OWO, aka June, aka Actually Ray, aka Jumpy June, depends where you are. They go by a lot of names. Madoka Magica and Cyberpunk are also big inspirations, especially for the world. Not so much in the magical girl sense, well, Madoka, yes, but Cyberpunk is more like story building, technology inspiration. Madoka has a lot of design inspiration and general sad girl, magical girl vibes. So yeah, those are my inspirations. I've definitely moved away from the Prism inspiration a little bit compared to what I used to, but yeah, it used to be very, very, very heavily Prism inspired. Now it's just like a sprinkle. Or, well, a large sprinkle still. But, you know. There's my inspirations. Now to talk about the gods of this world. This whole section of the story was literally just made because I really, really, really love Epic the Musical. And Greek gods are awesome. So, yeah. So, long ago there were gods. They were extremely powerful but incredibly vain. Each species was created by one of these gods. For example, someone like Hermes would have created angels. So, you know, wings on the head, they create creatures with wings on their heads. Simple stuff like that, you know, the gods would look like a more ethereal, more pumped up version of whatever species they made. Ethereals, essentially aliens, were created by a very manipulative and clever god, basically the god of gods. Think like Zeus-like, on top of everyone, rules the world, that sort of god. But the ethereals betrayed and killed gods by harnessing their powers as batteries. The gods died and transformed into crystalline skeletons. I would assume that ethereals would have done this, however, I've not figured out exactly how they would have done this, like basically frozen them as skeletons. So, you know, just use your imaginations for that one. If anyone has any ideas, I'm always open to suggestions. And now for the comet. Pieces of these skeletons were used to create technology far more advanced than we can imagine. Because ethereal bodies are closest to the gods, and made by the most powerful god, they can connect with and handle the power the best. Some skeleton fragments broke off during drilling or earthquakes, things like that, and shot down towards Earth. These fragments crashed into Earth and embedded into its core. And here's a picture of what that kind of looks like. So this is the Earth pre-comet, right when it hits, and then it made a magical tree. So the pieces of the comet grew into a magical tree, and heaven was destroyed. This place is where angels live, and it's called heaven for now as a little symbolic. That's where angels live, and that's like the classic Christian heaven and hell meaning. But it's not gonna be called that, I don't think. I think it would be kind of funny if it was, but I'm not 100% sure. And then this place would have been called hell, same reasoning. And I think it's funny that it's at the top and the bottom of the earth, but they both get destroyed anyway, so current story, it wouldn't matter. So, the comet crashed into heaven, and then the tree roots went down through the Earth's core into hell, and both places were kind of destroyed. All that was left was a small ring of continents and islands around the center of the Earth that managed to be stopped from being destroyed because some scientists figured out how to make it so that the tree wouldn't just keep spreading and taking over the Earth until it was destroyed. Because, you know, then there'd be no story. Earth would be dead, and that would be the end. And that would make a very fun story. Although I usually do tell stories like that. Oh well. So, the Earth. The magical tree was stabilized and mined to create advanced technology, much like the ethereals used. And some ethereals moved to Earth after learning about the unique properties generated by the tree. So the tree was, since it was made from the god skeletons, and it crashed into Earth, it combined with some of the Earth's properties, especially heaven and hell, and made some unique technological properties that the ethereals were interested in, essentially. I feel like I'm yapping so much. So much yapping. But yeah. Just need a sip of water. Excuse me. Anyway, implants. Onto the fun stuff. I feel like this isn't going to take as long as I thought. I really thought this would take a very long time to get through all the story, but I've done a decent job at condensing it, so yippee! Yeah, I don't have a bot. I need a mod. I need my mods to be my bots. I'm gonna get MC to set up a bot for me later on, but for now, so you have to be my bot. Alright, the creators. By the way, if you're watching this and thinking I'm rambling too much, I may edit it down into a more digestible YouTube video for anyone who wants to create magical girl stuff, but doesn't want to watch a very, very yappity stream. But streams are for yapping, so let's continue on. The creators of the implants, my favorite OCs that aren't based on anyone. Cod's taking #1 mod spot. Well, I would look at the points to see, but, you know, whatever. Okay, the creators of this world. Ah, thank you, Azalea. That's so nice. Sometimes I get conscious about yapping, but I'm quite the yapper, so we will keep doing what we do best. So, the first implants were made by two passionate scientists. Thylo, which is this one. He's an ethereal, and he found the beauty in Earth, you know, very, very rose quartz-like, but science. And then we've got Cedric, a young human eager to prove himself. Basically, all he cares about is that he makes some sort of scientific advancement. Next slide. Implants. The implants were designed to unlock the true energy of the ancient gods embedded within the user. So, basically, they were created to take the powers of the gods, implant them into a person, so that person can channel those powers. These implants effectively turn users into magical girls, like me, which is the reason for my design, if you didn't know. Granting an ethereal transformation and powers connected to the user's essence. So the powers are completely based on like your soul, what you enjoy, your emotions, all that stuff. Initial tests showed promising results, but some species experienced instability. So the implants don't really work 100% with all species. So ethereals handle it technically the best because they're made by a very powerful god, and other species that were made to kind of be more unique and do their own thing don't handle it quite as well. Also, people with more unstable emotions or general instability in their life don't handle implants as well as you'd want them to. My implant. Yippee! Sad part of the story. So during further testing, I received an implant. While I was in the process of getting the implant, the military stormed the university where Thylo and Cedric were working. I tried to defend it, but because of my unstable emotions during the time, you know, being stormed by the military ain't exactly easy on the emotions. And the implant wasn't fully bonded with my soul yet, so the process is meant to be a very calm, relaxing, slow process. But since right at the start of that process, the military infiltrated the place, a powerful magical blast was unleashed that essentially exploded or killed all the nerves and kind of disintegrated my arms, which is why I have these very ball-jointed, dull, robot-y, cool arms. Very, very cyberpunk. That's the main inspiration from my arms, if you didn't know. Very cyberpunk meets being Puppycat. So this is what my implant looks like. This is kind of old art, but yeah. So you'd be able to connect the implant with cords and like update and fix it up basically by giving it more essence from the tree. and then the main chunk of the implant is embedded right into my skull. I think early implants would have had to be embedded in the head, but then later ones were developed a little bit a little bit more freeform, so they can be anywhere on the body. It's only the early ones that had to be embedded literally in your skull. You sound so happy explaining your arms got disintegrated. You know, my arms are pretty dope, so why not be happy about that? Like, look how cool they are. They're so fun. They're so funky. And I think, yeah, this slide is about my arms. So look how cool they are. They're so being puppy cat. Isn't that fun? So my arms normally are like this, as you can literally see on me right now. And then if they get broken or damaged, they're very BM Puppy Cat inspired, with ribbons and wires all coming out. And honestly, I think that looks so cool. I want to draw this more. I just haven't had a reason to, but I will. Here are some of my old designs as well. And this one. If I draw them again, anything without like the angel wings on the head will probably be just retconned to have them, because my species is literally an angel and kind of need those. Those don't just grow out the head for fun. Don't look at this. This doesn't exist. Shut up. You don't remember that. You never remember seeing that. But yeah, here's all my designs. So this is the oldest. I don't know why I did it in this order, but whatever. So this one's the oldest. From when I was young, I was about 12 years old. And this is what the design looked like. And then 13, this at the age of 16. I didn't really change it much between those two, but this is when the cotton candy color palette comes in. It's 18 for this one and 18 for this one. They're pretty different though. I just showed the most different versions of my design. And then how old was I? 19 here, and then about 20 here, and then the one I have right now, literally me. That's from being, well, when did I first design this version? I think about a year ago, so 21 till now, which is 22. I put the puff sleeves back on for like a little bit of my design, like these, and then I got rid of the sleeves again, and you know, they're a removable part. So canonically, design wise, if you put wings on the head of all of these are technically canon, because for magical girl designs you can change your outfit as well as it changing based on how you feel, which is why I went through a couple emo phases. You know, gotta get that emo vibe in there. Yeah, my style changed a lot over time. You can definitely see the influence from like what I was watching at the time too. So like this was when I was watching a lot of Owl House. This was like peak watching lots of Ginger Ninja, lots of magical girl stuff. I think that's like a mix of Ginger Ninja and watching Madoka. I think I watched right about that time. This, you can't really tell because it's got like the pink filter over it, so it's not too distracting. But you can kind of see that I watched a lot of Arcane by the shading. I don't know if you can quite, it's not quite zoomed in enough to see that detail, but watched a lot of Arcane at this time. I think this time I was just like kind of jealous that my friend was better at drawing than me, so I tried really hard to make it look detailed and cool. I don't think my style really comes across that much in this one. And then these two were like my first, like, you know, typical DeviantArt kid anime phase. Yeah, the first one was definitely the FNAF phase. As you can see by the giant head. I don't know why everyone in the FNAF fandom at the time drew ginormous heads, but, you know. Hor. But yeah, and then I think, obviously all of these are cropped, but these ones all had ballet shoes, because I did ballet until around high school. I think I stopped in high school because I got nervous and no one in ballet liked me. They were scary, but I still liked ballet for a long time. So all of these ones have ballet shoes. This one has a microphone because I really like singing. And I also think I used something from Lavender Town at the time as a reference for this one. And I think it was fan art of Melanie Martinez, so. And I did not have the creativity skills to choose anything else to hold, so I just kept the microphone from the reference. But yeah, This is the style of evolution. I assume this one was quite influenced by Lavender Town with like the heart-shaped hair thingies. But yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop yapping about old designs because I'll be here forever. But the government control, let's go. So the government began okay, there. My mouth just did not word. Oopsies. Okay. Sorry if that was loud. The government then began mass-producing implants after taking control of them, creating a weaker, more stable version for high-class socialites. My head's blocking the control. Alright, well, you're just gonna have to imagine it's right here, okay? Oh well, I don't think many slides are broken up into these two, so we're just gonna have to live with that. I'm not moving down. I'm staying right here. What was I saying? I got distracted. Alright, so government began mass-producing implants and created a weaker version that was more stable for high-class socialites. Okay. And then this further deepened the already significant class divide in Orienta, which is the island name where the main story takes place. I don't think I have a drawing of it. That was kind of silly. But imagine like the city that everyone lives in. There's like a circle in the middle, and that's central. That's where everyone lives. Well, that's where all the rich people live. And then around that, like the whole city's one big circle. And then it like is concentric? Is that the word for it? Like when there's like a circle inside a circle inside a circle? I don't know. But there's a circle in the middle, and then that's all the high class people. That's central. And then on the outer ring of that is mid-reach. That's where all the middle-class people live. I know, very creative names. And then on the far circle is far side. I'm so creative with these names. I will come up with better names eventually. It's on my list of things to do. But yeah, so there was already like that class divide, and then having, you know, magical implants that make you more powerful than everyone else kind of made that a little bit worse. But yeah. Now we're on to Earth species. Some of you may have already seen this little PowerPoint before because I've shared it a little bit and now I've embedded it into this one. Where'd my music go? I just realized it's oddly silent. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna put the BRB screen up, but I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm still here. No, leave. There you go. Where'd my music go? Hello? Is it back? There you go. I think it's back. Okay. I think the playlist I had ended. Okay. Oopsies. My gosh. Okay, music's all good now? Alright, I think we're all good now. Music's back. I'm not just sitting here in silence. I thought it sounded weird. I was wondering where my music went. It should be back now. Here we go. We're back. Alright. Awesome. Where's my thingy? I have notes. I don't need those notes anymore. Alright, I don't need anything. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, I think some of my names, like, for things are okay, like Orienta's a cool name for the island and whatnot. Some of the species have cool names, but I definitely wish I could create better names for, like, the circles of the city and everything. Music is pretty quiet, but you can hear. It doesn't have to be too loud, I just need something to fill in that silence when I'm, like, taking a sip of water or something. As long as it's, like, a little bit in the background, I think we're all good. So, onto the species. We've got ethereals, which I've talked about a little bit. It's loud for you? I can turn it down a little bit. Let me see. How does that sound? Okay, if it's like really loud or really quiet, just let me know and I'll keep yapping while I wait for YouTube lag to catch up with me. So ethereals, I've talked about them a little bit. This information is a little outdated, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's all right there, but I'm doing my best. So, ethereals, generally known as intelligent, distant, focused, good builders. They usually have some sort of antenna. This is a more basic one, but if you saw, oh, is the chat box covering up like this a little too much? Should I move that? I might move the chat box down a little bit. I might put it down here for now, because I don't think anything's in that corner. Is that better? I know it comes from the bottom, but I think that's a little bit better. Just so it doesn't like block up here if I'm pointing to stuff, because there's usually more concentrated detail on the head. But yeah, ethereals. So they were meant to have like glowing tattoos that appear when they turn 16. I don't think that's necessary anymore, but like if you want your character to be an ethereal and you want the glowing tattoos, you can have them, but you don't need them anymore because I've nixed that idea. And then these antennae are the more basic ones, but ethereals can have pretty much any sort of antenna. You saw before with Thylo how they had like those droopy ones with all the little bits, kind of like a little axolotl. Like they can pretty much have antenna inspired by anything. They can even be more like antler-like, more floppy, more like pushed back, anything really. But yeah. Angels! Me! Well, I'm half ethereal, but obviously angel is the more obvious thing. So, angels. They are spacey, calm, they can float, they have minor healing powers. I don't know if that's still going to be a thing, but they can definitely float because I think it's like a cute visual to have creatures that can float around a little bit. Any design can have wings on their head. They have to have wings on their head, should I say. If you're an angel, you have to have the wings. And then they can have multiple eyes. They don't need to. They can have more than the one set of wings. They can have multiple sets of wings. I think either two wings or 2, 4, or 6 wings, I think. This is where I'm like a little more unsure about stuff to do with the story. So if you got any suggestions, feel free to slide them in here, because this is the part where I'm most unsure. But yeah, so the wings, and then they can also have a halo, and they don't have to. But yeah, they can also have like halos in less conventional spots, like around the wrists. Could even have one around the neck, around the legs, and they don't have to be a traditional halo. You know, I've seen people draw like fan art of like color wheel halos and stuff. For me, my character does have a halo, but it doesn't always appear, and I haven't quite decided on the design. I kind of like the idea of like the color wheel halo to be more arty vibes, you know? A little bit of that I'm an artist vibe. But yeah. There's meant to be color palettes down here that like suit the character, but I'm not following these anymore. If you'd like to take them as inspiration, if you make a character, you may go ahead, but you do not have to. Demons. Angels and demons could have cooler names. Quad, I love Seraphim. That's awesome. I didn't use Seraphim at the time, I believe, because I was watching Hasbin and they used Seraphims, and I didn't want people to compare it to Hasbin. But now the Hasbin hype is a little bit more chill, and I'm more open to switching to Seraphims. And I'd like a cooler name for demons too, if you have any. But onto demons. They have black sclera, horns, and a tail. I don't think they have to have a tail. I think most of them would, but they don't have to. And then horns and black sclera are absolutely necessary if you are full demon. You can also be half of things, and then you can take either one as your dominant trait and then have all the necessary things from that, or you can go 50-50. Like, let's say you're a demon mixed with an angel. Angels need to have the wings, so you would need to have the wings, but then you can choose like just the black sclera or just the tail or just the horns from demons. So you only have to have one of the must-haves if you're split. But if you take a dominant trait, let's say because I'm an angel and I have part ethereal, but my dominant trait is angel, I don't need to have anything from ethereals, but I can if I want. I would have chosen to have the glowing arm tattoo thingies, but I do not have organic arms anymore. So I think pre having implant, my character would have the tattoo glowing bits to show the ethereal side. But yeah, demons. Let's talk about their personalities. If you're making your own magical girl character, it's really important to pay attention to these like general personality traits, because you should choose a species that fits your vibe, if that makes sense. But yeah, demons, they tend to be mischievous, blunt, intelligent, strong. They can have pyro abilities, and then, as I explained already, Black Sclera, Horn's Tail. Sorry that all of these characters are like wider than me. So Cord, for the ethereals, I've kind of changed it with the tattoos, so they don't need to have it once they're 16 anymore. They are simply a possible trait for ethereals to have, but completely unnecessary now. It has been retconned. Sorry about the confusion there. I'm trying to like correct myself as I go for anything that I had in there before that doesn't apply anymore, because I literally just yoinked the PowerPoint I had from when I first made it and plopped it into this one. So yeah. Yeah, K was 12 when they got the implant still. It's just I've changed the way ethereals work. Humans, I wrote literally nothing about. I don't think anyone's going to choose to be a human. You could if you have an interesting idea for it. I, however, am not that creative because there are too many cool species and I don't want to be a human. But basically, they were one of the first species on Earth, not created by any god that we know of. They're very adaptable, and I wrote literally nothing else about them. I'm so sorry, humans. I love you, but like, I don't know. There's nothing to say. You all know what a human is. Androids. This is what I would be if I wasn't an angel ethereal mix. I think I had some names for the blends. I'm not sure if you remember any of them, Cord. I believe the name of an angel ethereal blend is a Celestine. But I've forgotten. So if you remember any of them, Cord, please let me know. But onto androids. Something just bugged out on my computer. I don't think it showed for you guys though. They should have blue blood. Bro, is that a Detroit reference? Are you Detroit referencing me right now? Because I agree, they should have blue blood. So androids, they definitely have blue blood now. I've decided totally on my own for no reason. Why does my chat keep bugging out? Is that happening for you guys, or is it just me? Every time I look over at my chat, it's like, it's bugging. Can someone type something in the chat so I can see if it's like making it bug out or something on my screen? Because it's gone funky. No, just me. Well, I didn't do it just then, so I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea why it's doing that. Maybe it's just my eyes being stupid. Anyway, androids. They are very advanced artificial intelligence. There's kind of like a thing there with... Your stream is lagging, no! God, no, I need you. I need you. You're the one fan of my falling Starlight universe. I need you. Come back. Everyone, hands together, please. Everyone, send out messages to the universe. Make Cord stream not lag. I hope it's not lagging on my end. I hope that's not my fault. If it is, let me know. No? No? No to helping Cord stream, or no to my stream lagging? I can't tell because the YouTube chat has so much lag. Anyway, androids. I'm gonna assume everything's fine. So. Excuse me. They are highly advanced artificial intelligence. There's a thing with androids where if you're a wraith, which is a type of ghost, you can possess an android as well. So if you want your character to die, you can possess an android. I also think that's cool. You can also be an android of a species that isn't human. Like this is a humanoid android, but you could be like an angel android. You could be an android of literally anything. So it doesn't just have to be human android. It can be other things. But they were originally created for injured people to inhabit. Injured as in dead. I don't know why I wrote injured, as if anyone other than dead people would inhabit it. Yeah, I don't think I updated it. Alright, oh well. I'm going from what I remember, but I'm pretty sure they were called Celestines. If they're an angel ethereal hybrid. I don't think there's a name for these ones though. I don't think there's a name for angel android hybrids. Had some names, but not too many. Maybe I should go find them. Actually, I'll read. I don't know if I have them. Let me have a quick check if I can find any of my old stuff. And if not, I'll move on. But I'm just wondering. Man, I have way too many things here. Is it in characters maybe? Probably not. No, I don't think so. I have so many files on Falling Starlight, it's not even funny. Would it be in Falling Starlight? Initially, the universe was called Soulbound Circles, but I've kind of just, like, put it together and made it all. Yes, it is Celestines. Okay, cool. Do I have any other names? Known hybrids. There we go, I found it. Yes, Celestines for angel ethereals, and then you've got Hexblooms for demon nymphs, Starstalkers for wildborn ethereals, which is what my sibling Charlie is, because, you know, they're my sibling. They have to have one in common, but we have different parents, so, you know, law accurate. There's other names for, like, different things. Celeste Bloom is an angel nymph. I basically just went, like, for things that made sense, and then if it sounded bad, I got rid of it. So, like, Celeste is angels, and then Bloom would be nymphs. Stuff like that. Yeah. But that's basically what's important. Yeah. Anyway. So androids, much to uncommon opinion, are thinking and feeling beings. You know, they got their own opinions and everything. They look like ball-jointed dolls, so you can't really see it here. This is a more simplified version, but with my Sona, you can see I've got like the ball joints along my arms, which are made in the same way as androids would be. So yeah, taking another sip of water, don't mind me. I yap so much that it hurts my throat. I'm glad the music's working again. It sounds a little bit funky when I'm just sitting here in silence. It's scary. Wildborn. So, Wildborn are basically, you know, animal people. They can be as animalistic or not animalistic as you want. You can go with the basic ears and tail, or, you know, if you're not a typical mammal with ears and tail, just main characteristic. Or you can make it a little bit more intense by having, oh, my bad. Okay. You can make it a bit more intense by giving them, like, the same skin tone as it, and anything like that. But they have to at least have, like, the main trait. So if you're some type of bird, you have to have that bird's wings. But you can also be a little bit more intentional and intense about it, essentially. So they can be based off any animal. So I think we have 3 canonical wildborns so far that I know of that people have created for my universe. So Sue is half wildborn, and they are mixed with a shark. And then Charlie is wildborn ethereal, and they are a tanuki or a raccoon. Either way, they don't really mind, they just wanted to be raccoon-esque. And then Cord is also a wildborn, and they are a... was it an owl? It was an owl, right? I've forgotten. I've forgotten what type of owl. Feel free to correct me. I think they're also mixed with a wraith, which kind of just means you're dead. You don't really get born as a wraith. So yeah. They can transform into a little version of their animal, especially if they get scared, and they're quite in tune with nature. They tend to be the ones who are most unstable when it comes to implants. If you're only half wild born, it kind of like halves your chances of being unstable. But yeah, a barn owl, yes. And yes, you are dead. You did write about it. Your story was so good, man. I wish I was that good at writing, but yes. Yeah, if they get scared, they can become like a small version of their animal. They don't have to, but they can. And I assume if you're half wild born, you could do that, or you could choose that you can't do that. I'm scared, become shark. Exactly. That exactly. Next species, elves. No one's really been an elf. I haven't really thought too much into it. I just thought it'd be cute to have like a pointy-eared, like antler having creature. But yeah, they are stoic, connected to the forest. They're usually quite mature, tall, and have pointed ears and some form of antlers. Originally it was just like typical tall human with pointy ears, but I wanted it to be a little bit more magical, mysterious-esque, so I gave them antlers as well. And you can really, really go nuts with antlers for that. You know, I like to have most of these designs be pretty free. And now we got goblins. This is a goblin shark. I couldn't find a graphic of a goblin, so I put a goblin shark. Because I love them. They're so silly. Goblins. They are usually short, impulsive, stabby, extroverted. They have sharp teeth, as you can see, the little pointy teeth, droopy ears, and a green tint to their skin. They can have fully green skin or this like gradient. There are a lot of things that can have the gradients, or they can have the things. Did I draw that? No, I didn't draw the goblin shark. It's just a graphic from Canva. I did not draw the silly little goblin shark. Although I do want to draw a goblin shark. Maybe I should draw a goblin shark. Could make that a sticker. That'd be a great sticker. Anyway, any character that like would typically have colored skin, like if they're like a goblin or an orc, even like demons and stuff, they can either have this like gradient to their skin, or they can have like fully colored skin. So yeah, next creature. Well, stop breaking the stream then, Sue. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're breaking it on orcs? The poor orcs. Why would you break the stream? That's so rude. Orcs. So, typically, just whatever. Chat is broken. Well, why'd you break it then? What do you mean the chat is broken? What happened to it? How's it broken? I don't see any breakage. Why'd you break the chat, huh? Wait, actually, is there something wrong there? Nice. Oh, my thingy is not working. Hello? They keep breaking. Yeah, they keep breaking the stream. I guess I'll get unmod. Jesus, I can't speak. Guess I'll unmod them. Is this working? It was kind of frozen for a second, right? No, you get back. Get back here. Is this working now? Everything's breaking. Wait, is this fixed? My model wasn't moving for a second. I think it's back. Okay, we're all good. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't broken. Maybe I'm just silly. That's freaking out. Wait, is everything working now though? It doesn't matter if some messages aren't appearing. Guess you guys are just silly. Let me see if I can... Okay. Good enough. Okay, orcs. Yes. They are strong, tend to be a little oblivious. They have the tusks protruding from the bottom of their mouth. Well, lower jaw, I guess. Not the bottom of the mouth. Whatever. Same thing. And they have more green to their skin. So for this, I drew it like this to like add it to the thing without, you know, obviously I just added it to the top of the little base character we have here. But yeah. I think now I would make it so they just have fully green skin, and then goblins can have the tin or fully green skin, maybe. And I think goblin and orcs are somewhat related species, at least like made by the same god, same lineage. But yeah, nymphs / fae. This is what a lot of people choose to be. I don't quite know why. I don't know why the fairies are so popular with everyone, but whatever people want to be, I am very happy for them to be it. They are pretty stinking cute, to be honest. But yeah, so nymphs tend to be dreamy, they love nature, have a little bit of plant-based magic, you know, typical, can make flowers grow and stuff, heal trees and whatnot. They are quite sweet and quiet, they tend to be observant, and then they have the wings, and they can have this like little skin gradient on their hands and all around their eyes, and it's all very, very sparkly. If I had time to fully render out a nymph, they would be super sparkly, but you know, I don't got all the time. I cannot work on this forever, although if I could, if I was a millionaire, I would be sitting in a garage working on this forever. Merfolk. No one has chosen to be this yet. I am very intrigued to see a character with it. Maybe I could just make an OC. I don't know. Maybe I should. One day I will. But there. Bro, where did my voice go? It just died. My brain. Obviously, I'm great at speaking. Make an excellent streamer. But merfolk. They can breathe underwater. Their legs can transform into a tail. They tend to be shy and great at singing. They have very hypnotic singing, you know? Sirens and stuff. Lore. Close enough to a shark, I guess. To be fair, people can be like wild-born mixed that's an aquatic animal, and it's pretty close to merfolk, so. They have like the same gradient as a fairy does, but also on their legs. If this was rendered like as a full drawing, it would have like scales as part of the gradient, like there'd be like a couple scales shiny here. They're very, very similar to merfolk. I mean, fairies, jeez. They're very similar to fae, but, you know, just mermaids. You guys know how that works. Elementals. Very adventure time. This is a water elemental, obviously. If you can't tell that, you might need to get your eyeballs checked. They can be fire, water, earth, or air-based. Don't ask me what an air-based elemental would look like. I do not know. Well, they'd probably have, like, clouds for hair, probably? I don't know. Maybe show air. Clouds, I guess. Clouds is probably the best. They can have variations, such as earth elementals being able to be, like, crystals, or water elementals being able to have ice. Would they be bought? This is an avatar. Don't start with me. And then they have the power to control whatever element they have. So yeah. Vampires. It's funny to see one bald after seeing one with hair. They have learned to live along with people on Earth, you know, they don't drink blood, or at least not human blood. They can drink red, you know, adventure time. Yes, that was taken right from Marceline. Yes, vampires are literally just because Marceline's my favorite character in Adventure Time. And they can drink animal blood. I think most of them would drink animal blood. I assume drinking red would be like a special thing they can do, not just anyone. Their power strength, is based on whether they were born or turned a vampire. So if they have two vampire parents and they get born a vampire, they are stronger than someone who was turned into a vampire. Because someone who was turned would be like another species. And if you're a boring human turned into a vampire, sorry, guess you're weak. I think this one's the last one, which is wraiths, aka ghosts. I just think wraith sounds cooler. Wraiths, usually a human soul that has come back for unfinished business or from being brought back from the dead. This isn't always true. Sometimes they're just creatures that don't believe they're dead. You know, there could be a lot of reasons. They tend to be forgetful, you know, they don't really have a brain anymore. They're kind of just a spirit, so they don't exactly have a memory anymore. So they're very forgetful, and they can turn completely invisible when scared. This specific design of a wraith is kind of like, it would be more transparent typically. And it's kind of based on, like, if a human died and then got buried and then, like, flowers grew through them and then they came back as a wraith, and that's what they would look like. That's the vibe. I unintentionally made my story perfect for yours. I'm the best. You are the best, Cord. Your story is amazing. I love it so much. It's so good. It's so perfect for this. I could go on forever and ever. But I shall not, for the sake of not making this stream forever long. Because it's meant to be a short stream. And I think it's been, how long? An hour. Yes. Okay. So, moving on from the species now. I think the chat box is covering a little bit. Is it okay if I make it smaller? Do you guys care to read, like, all the messages on screen? They're there if you want to look at them, but I assume most of you have the chat box open anyway if you're chatting. So, yes. My design conventions. So, my model. Yeah, it's right here. I don't know what I wanted to talk about here. I've kind of forgotten. Let me look if I wrote down some notes. I plan to make the PNGTuber. Okie dokie. I'm gonna put my model. Where's me? There's me. I'm gonna put my model over here so I can talk about them a little bit. Alright, so me. This is me, obviously. Yeah. So some of my design conventions, obviously you can see the part angel being involved here, how it's got the angel wings. Yeah. I don't know if I wrote like the other stuff that I wanted to write down later on. No, it's me. No, it's not you. You're silly. You're a silly goose. As you know, like I've tried to incorporate some of the story into it. So I have my thing isn't sitting in the middle, is it? Put that like there. There we go. Okay, so you can see like I tried to tie in story elements to it. There's some things that were just added for cuteness, like the little heart ahoge up here. That is simply cuteness. I've had that for a really long time. It was added for cuteness only. And then I've got my wings here, which are from, you know, being part angel, from being a Celestine. And then you got the arms that are like the ball-jointed doll, how the androids are built. And then you got the magical girl dress, obviously. And then I don't think there's other super important things to talk about right now, because I think I made a couple pages to do with like how you would design one, which will talk about some of the things that I designed. So I'm going to move on to that now, because I don't really have too much to say about my model specifically. So let's go back over here and grab this and pull it back over here. Over here, I guess. And back here. Can we have multiple people? You can have like your character based on you, and you can make a character within the world. That is totally cool with me. Like, you don't have to just have your Sona, which is you. You can have like your Sona. You can have a not your Sona. You can have another character that is different within the same universe if you have cool ideas for like people or something to do with the species, stuff like that. Like, I've made characters for the universe that aren't specifically like me. So yes, essentially yes, you can have multiple people. I must say everything in the most long-winded way possible. But anyway, here's some characters I designed. So we have Cord's character here, right? They are so cute. They are a barn owl, as you can see, species-wise. We talked about that earlier. I love their design. Me and Cord kind of designed it together, so I do not take full credit for this design. They helped me out a lot, making the design really cute. I love it so much. I love the like blue tongue, like how owls have. Oh, it's so cute. So freaking cute. Look how cute this is, y'all. I think this would be like not Wraith-esque version, and then this is their like magical girl outfit, of course. Yeah, it was so fun. I love designing their characters so much. I really like designing characters. This is how they, like this version here, these little goobers, this is how they look when I first draw them, and then I usually try to get some form of like actual finished artwork out to decide how I want to draw their facial features and whatnot. This is a slightly very teensy bit older art style. I draw like noses more simplified now, but other than that, this is pretty up to date. And then I have Maria, who's one of my friends. This was pre, like, these designs, a lot of these designs actually, were pre-deciding, like, different species people could be. So all of these ones down here, and this one, were all before we decided, like, angels and whatnot existed. So yeah, this is Charlie's old design, and so is, it's behind Sue's tail, but it's basically the same. So this is Charlie's old design, and then this is their new design. You can see their, like, glowy tattoos. They decided to keep those. And then they have, like, a halo, but it's not an angel halo. It's just, like, part of their design because they wanted to go for an Apollo theme. And then they have the little raccoon tail and raccoon ears. This is kind of a very, like, squished down version of their design. I imagine their skirt to be, like, more similar to mine, just, like, a little bit flatter, not quite so, like, long and past the knees. It's very, like, Vocaloid meets Apollo. And then this is, like, their old design, which was, like, more alien themed. And this is Maria's design pre-becoming a fairy. I prefer this color palette to this one, but yeah. And then we've got Saturn, Luca. This is my old design and the old way to spell my name. This is MC's design pre-demon, little demon horns. This is my friend Ray. This is Sue's, like, that's their actual character. And then, like, not within my world, like, their actual character, which would technically fit into my world, but to make it more, like, magical girl-esque, I put, like, their, I basically mixed their character with a magical girl version of them, which is half demon, half wildborn. I think it used to be part nymph, part demon, but I thought the shark theme suited them a bit better, and then technically this design of theirs is partly canon in here. I've kind of went back and forth on whether I would want to draw them, like, more like their character, like Sue, which is also their name, so have fun with deciding whether I'm talking about Sue the person or Sue their character. Your actual OC design is changing, yeah, I know. Once you finish that version of your OC design, I might, like, inject some of them more into this version, like keep the magical girl outfit and maybe keep the hair, or at least keep the hair as their... It was a nymph was it a nymph elemental? I thought it was a nymph demon. Oh well. My bad if not. But yeah, they are now a demon and wildborn mixed together. As you can see by them having the black sclera, because they really like Tokyo Ghoul, so I thought it'd be cool to give them the Tokyo Ghoul eyes. I'm not sure if they'd have, like, the greyish blue skin that Sue has. I'm not sure if Sue's keeping that. Oh my gosh. Sue or Sue? Anyway, it's, like, their character to represent them, and they're changing them up a bit, so I'll let them do that. And since you're, like, your own mental version of you is meant to be how you look in this universe, it's, you know, meant to be more that. So I think I might change their skin to be able to be grey. Maybe they can choose to have, like, normal, like, their normal skin tone to blend in with humans or something. I don't know. I guess you wouldn't need that in a world full of angels and stuff. I don't know. We will decide that another time. But this is how they look in this, and then they're like not magical girl, I would say human design, but they're not exactly a human, so their untransformed design I'm gonna make closer to Sue. I'm basically gonna, like, try to merge them together a little bit, so draw Sue within my universe and then draw, like, their magical girl self closer to their normal design, if that makes sense. Anyway, moving on from talking about Sue, because otherwise I will be here all day if I keep talking about minute design changes I'm trying to make. We have my friend Dylan. This is quite the old design, but it's still generally how I'd want him to look. I think he's now part demon, part elemental. I think demon and nymph are the two most popular species for people to choose. Demon, nymph, and occasionally wildborn is usually the direction people go. But anyway, he's gonna have some, like, ram-like horns, and then he's part elemental. So he still has the fire. Most of this is probably gonna be somewhat similar. This is my arcane phase art style, going real hard. Everyone is demons. Oh my god, that's so true. Obviously you can't see what species people are here, I don't think this is everyone I've designed, but it's a good chunk of them. So just to like say what they are meant to be. Charlie is a Wildborn Ethereal. Rai is a Wraith Wildborn, which another Wildborn. Sue is a Demon Wildborn. Dylan is a Demon Elemental. I am a Celestine, aka an Ethereal Angel. MC is just a Demon. He's not here right now, but my friend, like, he's not on this thing, but my friend Jay is a Demon. Luca, Saturn, and Maria are all fairies. I've forgotten what Ray was, and I think Sam was also a Wildborn. Just to give you a general vibe of what people usually choose if you want to make a character and you want it to not be what people would usually choose. But most of what people choose, there is quite the variety with, or people choose to be half-half. So there's not too much of like a insane overlap that's like, oh my gosh, why is everyone this? Because you can't exactly tell what everyone is just by first glance anyway. There's quite a few unique designs going on. So don't worry too much about being like, oh no, everyone chooses to be a demon. How could I possibly make a cool character? Because there's so much you could do with it. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter. But moving on to my character design inspiration. If you want some awesome inspiration, go watch Ginger Ninja OWO. I know I keep talking about that channel way too much, but I love their magical girl designs so much. They are so cool. I am so very in love with the way they design magical girls. So here are this one, and this one are all their designs. This is from Prism. Actually, all of these are from Prism. I take huge inspiration from Prism in general, which is their magical girl story that they make. So just get a good gander at these designs. If you want to know how I draw something, look at Prism. I also take a lot of design inspiration from Madoka. I usually like saturate them to be more like colorful, but I still make them like these design conventions I take a little bit of. I'm not a huge fan of the like school uniform looking magical girls. It's not my favorite, like the Sailor Moon school uniform vibe. So, you know, apart from Homura, I take a decent amount of inspiration from the rest. And then also Bee and Puppy Cat outfits, I take a lot of inspiration from too. So yeah, if you're ever wondering how to design a character, then those are the things that I take inspiration from. And now, I've talked quite a little bit, so quite a lot. So I'm sure you have some ideas of how you would design a new character if you wanted to make a magical girl. But just in case you don't, I'm going to explain it a little bit, yeah. So, some general rules on how you would make one. Your Sona should represent the essence of you. It doesn't have to necessarily look like you, although usually when I draw someone as a magical girl, I kind of take how they look into account, but you do not have to. Like for me, like I used to draw my face like a lot more like squished and cutesy, like very Rebecca from Cyberpunk, but I am not a like 4 foot tall adorable squish face lady. So I changed my design a little bit to have a little bit more of a rectangular face. I don't know if you can see it too much because it's very rounded out by my hair, because I wanted to keep that like round shape language in there still, but like the actual head and face are a little bit more squared out than I used to draw it, to make it look a little bit more like me. And then the nose bridge is a little bit longer because I have a little bit of a longer nose. I don't have a tiny little button nose, so I didn't want to have that on my Sona. But then everything else I kind of just went wild with. I have pink hair, but actually I don't have it right now. My hair's kind of purple right now because I dyed it last night. But yeah, I take little bits and pieces from myself, but it doesn't look exactly like me. You know, obviously I'm not an angel with cybernetic arms, but you know, I take little bits and pieces, like trying to like squish it a little bit more towards what I'd look in a very simplified cyberpunky art style, but you don't really have to go too far with making it look actually like you. It should just look like how you feel in your brain, if that makes sense. So you keep the core parts of yourself, you focus on what's the most important parts of you. For example, I use very heavy Madoka and Prism inspiration in my design. Like, look at this design. It's obviously very inspired by the things I like. Bro, don't tell everyone my secret. Don't tell them. They can't know. But anyway, I use... Oh, I already read that. Anyway, I use my favorite colors in my design, with mainly blue for the dress, and then quite a bit of pink, and then a little bit of purple, because those are my favorite colors. They're also the bi flag, so you know. And then I use star and galaxy theme because I really, really, really love stars and galaxies. I love looking out into space and seeing all the stars. I want to go to a planetarium so bad. I want to go. Let me go to the planetarium, please. Take me. What was I saying? I just like absolutely stopped my train of thought, dead in its tracks. Oh yeah, moving on. Sue is a shark with ocean theming and inspiration from Gumi, which is one of their favorite Vocaloids. They also like Miku, but I thought I'd take the inspiration from Gumi because they've been quite obsessed lately. Their design is newer, so it's been created recently and isn't set in stone completely. As I said, I want to make a little bit of changes, but yeah. But they have shark theming and ocean theming because they really, really, really like sharks. They have a whole shark tattoo, so thus the shark theme. And then MC's color palette is black, red, and navy because he really, really likes red. So if there's like something about you, especially if you're like neurodivergent and have like a hyperfixation, that should be absolutely front and center in your theming. And then Charlie has Apollo themes with like the sun and everything because they've always liked sun theming, and nowadays they really like Apollo. And they look really good in yellow, so you know, if you look particularly good in a color, then you can also add that in, but you don't have to have it like, oh, I don't look good in this color, so my character can't have it. Your character can have whatever you want. Moving on. Body types and face shapes. I'm covering up face shapes again. Just imagine right here it says face shapes. Use your imagination. You're all very, very smart. So you start with a body type that suits your personality. You don't have to. I don't always do this myself. I generally kept like a slightly neutral thing going on. Oh, yes, MC mentioned. You love Teto? I love Teto. It's okay if you don't talk much. You don't have to chat the whole time. I'm kind of going off yapping anyway. You are all good. You don't have to talk the whole time. I'm just happy for people to be here. Yeah. So I don't always remember to go with a body type and face shape that suits. I've changed that somewhat recently. Like my face shape, I think, fits me a little bit more than it used to, because I used to make it like really squished and cutesy, which was fine. It's just not quite what I wanted. And then with my body type, I broadened the obviously you can't tell too much because I have a giant skirt, but I imagine for my like actual proper design, I would have yippee, I got mentioned. Yeah, boyfriend mention, everyone, look out. What was I saying? Yes, body type. So for me, since I'm non-binary, I decided to broaden out my shoulders just a little bit and not have a completely flat chest because this is like a magical girl design and I'm somewhat gender fluid, so I don't mind being femme occasionally, and you know, magical girls are quite the time to be femme. You don't have to be femme for your magical girl design. You can be like a magical boy. It's just magical girl is the name of the genre. But yeah, so I broadened out my shoulders a little bit for this design, and then obviously you can't tell because I'm wearing a giant skirt. I still have like a little bit of like an hourglassy figure to my design, which is like somewhat what I have in real life because I wanted to keep it somewhat looking like actual me. But yeah, you can kind of do whatever you want there, whatever suits you, whatever mix of things you want. They're saying you're stinky. Yeah, MC, I'm saying you're stinky. I'm telling everyone how smelly you are. If I say that, he's gonna roast me. Anyway, before my boyfriend decides to roast me in the comments chat, whatever, I'm used to YouTube talk. I'm not used to this stream and stuff. But yeah, design wise, the broader shoulders and everything to make it look a little bit more non-binary. and then still a generally slightly softer body, you know, not too curvy. I'm a little bit more like, you know, not this fit in real life, but I wish I were, so I draw myself fit. But yeah, so a round face, I used K-pop Demon Hunter reference because I think they do a really good job with like face shapes and stuff. So yeah, a rounder face makes it look cute and friendly. Rectangular or square faces usually suit leaders. This works a little bit better if you're like making a full story with multiple characters. If you're just designing yourself, I would generally lean towards either a sharper, like slimmer face or a rounder, cuter face to more intensely show. But generally rectangular in this sense means like leader, but it can also be like rectangular or square faces can be I guess kind of like in Steven Universe, how like Garnet has a more square shape to her face. It kind of also just means like more stoic, strong people, if that makes any sense. And then Sharka, Sue, you're getting into my vocabulary here. Sharper shapes work well for high energy personalities or more aggressive personalities, you know, either way. It's not really one or the other, it's kind of just whatever you think suits. So out of these three, whatever suits your personality, whatever you think suits, Sharker, shut up. Whatever you think suits your personality is what you should generally lean towards in shape language. So my face shape, I made like a little bit round and a little bit rectangular to go kind of in between these two. I'm usually not this type of archetype. You know, lots of people say like sharp, like, or triangular is more high energy, but it tends to also be more aggressive, which I've not been angry very often in my whole life. I'm a very doormat, calm type of person. I'm either calm or I'm being a doormat. I'm never angry or aggressive. So that's why I tend to stay away from the sharp shape language and lean towards either more square or more soft, depending on what I'm designing myself for. For this one, since it's literally like my magical girl Sona, and if you know much about the backstory and stuff, how I've explained it, I didn't explain too much of like my actual story, but my character is meant to be kind of hostage for the government, forced to work for them. So they're like a little bit shy, a little bit sad, but also hardworking and needing to be a leader at times, which is why I go between these two shape languages, the round and the more square. And then I have a few sharper angles in there for that high energy, but most of it's very rounded or squared. Species you can choose from. I've been through all of them, but here's another little like look at all of them together. These aren't all like there anymore. I got rid of Centaur. Is any of these other ones I got rid of? I don't think so. I got rid of Centaur because for Wildborn, I kind of decided that you can just be whatever amount of animalistic you want. You don't have to like be a different species to have some animal legs. You can do that if you're a Wildborn if you want to. And then, you know, we've been through all these before, but this is what you can choose from. You can mix them together if you want. I think you can only really have 2 of them to avoid overcrowdedness. But yeah, moving on. What else? So picking themes, it should work with your personality and interest, and you have to pick some kind of power that goes along with that theme. So for me, my theming is galaxy and space and stars and stuff, as you can see from my like sparkly like starry skirt, and then also my like choker with the little like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a heart but with like a Saturn ring around it sort of thing. So yeah, and then a power that goes with that theme and with your interest, it should say there. So my power is to conjure things with constellations because I love stars, but I also really like art and drawing. So essentially my character, let's say they get their stars out and they draw out like a sword shape in the stars, like as a constellation, and then they grab onto it and it becomes like an actual sword that's like celestial, starry themed, essentially. And then like Sue's power, they can control both water and blood because, you know, they got the demon theme going on. There's a little bit of Chainsaw Man inspiration in there, and they can control water because shark, essentially. I'm not going into too much depth on it. There's obviously a little bit more to it than that, but generally that's how it works. Design. There's so much here. Why did I write so much? So, you should be collecting references of characters you really like or those who share your personality traits, preferably a mix of both. So, like, maybe 2 or 3 of your absolute most favorite characters, and then as many as you can of ones that share very similar personalities to you. Design an outfit based on those references. You should generally be looking at, like, your favorite Genshin, Madoka, Prism, or any magical girl characters. If it's Genshin, Honkai, or Zenless, you should take one of those as inspiration, preferably. A favorite character from any of those would work. And then take a inspiration from a magical girl you like, or a magical girl-like character if you don't have a magical girl you like. If you have a favorite character that isn't a magical girl, you can always look up inspiration online. Like, literally just look up this character as a magical girl, and then take some traits from that. That's generally what I do, at least. And then design an outfit based on what you see there. You then choose a color palette, one main color, preferably whatever your favorite is. It doesn't have to be, it can be one that you think would suit your character if you prefer. And then you have to choose a secondary color to go with that, and an accent color. You don't have to choose an accent color if you don't want. You have to have at least the 2 colors, and then an accent if you want it, which is what I have, since I have the main blue, and then pink secondary, and then an accent of purple. Black and white do not really count when you're considering your colors, so you can have maximum 3 like main colors, and you can switch around the hue and tone of it a little bit, but generally stay within those 3 colors, and then you can add as much black or white as you want, which, because it doesn't really count as a color to me, or at least for my design conventions. I took that a little bit from Prism, but I kind of got rid of the fact that the colors are strength-wise and all that stuff. It's just that I think it makes a more cohesive character. Revise your design and think about if it suits you. If you make a character that's cool and it doesn't suit you, you can just make them into a cool character. And if you don't make a character that suits you, boom, you got a magical girl Sona. Congratulations. And then when you're finished creating the character, show me! I love when people get involved in the magical girl universe. You can kind of make stuff up. If it doesn't really suit the universe, it's just like not canon, but it can be an AU if you want it to. If you take any inspiration from this at all, I would love if you did that. That would be very cool to me. And if you design multiple characters, or if you and your friend design characters together, you can use this lore and design to guide yourself to build your own little island within this universe, because there's the ring of islands that go around, and you can kind of just go along with whatever you want. You can make your own technology from the tree, you can make your own rules, anything you want. So yeah, I think that would be really cool if anyone wants to do that. You can kind of just make your own little island, make your own little thing. Yeah. I think that's all. Yeah. Q&A time. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah. I don't think anyone will have any questions. I kind of just made this as a like yap time if anyone wants to talk. I'll go back to the middle here. Oopsies. Yeah. Hopefully I'll have some more expressions and stuff on my Sona in the future. But yeah. Yippee! They're so cute. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. You don't have to, of course. I am not in need, but it would be cool. Yeah. If anyone has anything they'd like to ask about the Magical Girl universe, or if you'd like to make your own character, feel free to. I know that chat's a little bit delayed. You might not have any questions though. There's only like 6 people here right now, so I assume there wouldn't be any questions. And a couple of the people here know way more story than what I've said here, so there probably won't be any questions. In the meantime, I'm going to quickly grab a new cup of water and I'll be right back. Alright, we are back. Oh, Cord has a question for me. Yes, a question to end off the stream. Let's go. Brain is fried from the amazing info dump. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy. I'm glad you guys seem to be somewhat enjoying the stream. I'm not quite used to just sitting here talking. I mean, I am quite the yapper, but, you know, yapping to yourself is something quite different. But yes, Cord. Empty implants are a thing, high-grade gems and whatnot. So yeah, implants come in like, I didn't draw this, so I don't really know how to show it, but let's say like there's like an outer piece to the implant that gets implanted into your skull, and then there's like the actual gem inside the implant. So, yeah, you can have like an empty like injector as the thing, and that can go into the skull without having the actual gem inside. And they're not exactly high grade gems, there are like less safe gems. So yeah, how do I say it? So the like less safe gems would be like ones that are made by not scientists, and they are distributed amongst Farside as like a way to become powerful enough to stand up to people in Central who are trying to like bully them and take their stuff, and basically a way to protect themselves. And those would be less stable than the ones in Central. So Central has like very stable but kind of weak implants, but Farside has ones that are less stable and harder to use, but they would technically be stronger. And then ones that were actually created for good, like the one I have by Thylo and Cedric. And Thylo and Cedric would try to distribute their own after they had been chased out by the government. So essentially, there would be ones amongst the world that are both somewhat stable, still not perfectly stable. No implant is meant to be that stable. You're meant to have a quite clear mind. You're meant to have them with purpose and be chosen to have them based on your suitability, and the government just didn't pay attention to that. So yeah, but essentially yes, there are like different levels of implants and levels of stability within those implants. Sue has a question too. Aw, I actually have questions. I was scared I'd come back and no one would say anything, and then I'll have to end stream sad. Are there some species that hate each other, like an opposite kind of thing? I think there would be some species that hate each other. I don't want to do it as like the typical opposites, but before the asteroids hit and heaven and hell were destroyed, obviously angels and demons lived in completely separate areas to most species, and then I imagine there'd be a little bit of species divide amongst the islands. So there'd be like islands where many wildborn tend to live because of the climate and the culture, and then same with other species. So I think there'd be some like species divide and conflict over ways of living and ways of acting, but I don't think it'd be very stereotypical. So for example, like angels and demons may seem like opposites, but since they're both used to living more isolated, calm lives, they would actually quite get along. But yeah, how would that work hybrid-wise? Hybrid-wise, it's more so just, how do I say? Excuse me. Hybrid-wise, it's literally just like if you have a parent that is one thing and another parent that is another thing, you become a hybrid. So for me, it would be like my dad would have been an ethereal, my mom would have been an angel, and thus hybrid was born. I assume there'd be a decent amount of hybrids, you know. It's not uncommon. It's not taboo or anything or uncommon. Some species may be a little bit taboo about being with other species, like there could be cultural things. I haven't thought out too much like culture-wise how species would act, so like maybe somewhere where a lot of wildborn live may not appreciate a wildborn being with an ethereal, for example, because they're more connected with nature and ethereals are very not so. So I suppose if a old world, old school, pre-comet wildborn saw a child that was half ethereal, half wildborn, they may not be the biggest fan, essentially. And you missed the part at the intro where what were the gods called? And they died from above, and that's what the meteor appeared in the first place. Okay, yes, sorry, I'm so bad at reading. I'm just like trying to get the words into my brain so I can explain things. So the gods don't have a particular name yet. I haven't named them at all. But generally, there's like a bunch of different gods. So they're based on Greek gods, but I haven't given them like unique in-world names yet. So let's say there's like a god like Hermes, excuse me, and then that god would have made angels, stuff like that. They don't have particular names yet, but I will figure out what I would want to call different gods, and then each god made the specific species. So each different species was likely made by a different god, but there could be gods that made multiple species. For example, there would have been a god that made orcs that also made goblins because they're very similar. So species that are similar were probably made by the same gods. And then there are species that were created, stuff like vampires. There'd probably be zombies as well. I didn't include zombies, but I want to design a zombie. I saw a Vtuber with like a really cute pastel zombie design, and now I want to design one. So there would be like a point in time where monstrous creatures were made. I assume that would need some sort of technology basis from the tree, from the implants, or something else. Maybe some sort of corruption, some sort of low-level corruption. I didn't explain this at all, actually, but implants can be corrupted. And if you are corrupted by your implant, some freaky stuff starts to happen. Some people who are more resilient to implants can become half corrupted and not completely die. So yeah. Yeah, if wraiths can exist, so can zombies. That is absolutely true. I want to give like a technological reason behind that from the implants and stuff, but yeah. Yes, the corruptions were absolutely missing. But yeah. Yeah, oops. You didn't see that, right? I just accidentally like messed up the thing for a second, but I think it didn't show on stream, so we're all good. Yes, I completely missed out on adding the corruptions to the whole PowerPoint, and I didn't realize that until just now. Oopsies! So I'll quickly just generally explain corruptions. Certain species, I explained a little bit before, they're more resistant to, like, implants and them going haywire, but the thing about them going haywire is they completely wreck your mind and soul. Essentially, if you are not resilient to an implant, and you are emotionally unstable, then you can become corrupted, and basically you get a more monstrous, more freaky version of your magical girl design. If you try to transform while you're corrupted, it messes you up. Your consciousness is not in control anymore, and your whole body goes into like a fight or flight reflex, destroy everything, save yourself mode. There's not too much more to explain about it other than that, but ethereals and anyone who is more on the celestial side is generally more resistant to corruptions than those who are not. So my Sona, me, I would be more resilient to corruption, but not immune to corruption. It just means I would be more conscious during a corruption than someone who is not resilient to one, who would completely freak out and lose all control, essentially. That is most of what I can say about corruptions. Designing a corrupted form would be super cool. I plan to do mine soon. Essentially, mine would be like, I don't know how to explain it without sounding stupid, but I want like my head to essentially be set on fire, but in like cosmic flames, if that makes sense. And then my sclera would go black, and I would have a very like torn up, ripped design going on. I don't know how to explain that without it sounding stupid. I promise you it looks cool in my head, and I will draw it soon so I can show you guys that I'm not stupid. That sounds like really stupid and edgy for no reason, but I promise you it looks cool in my brain. I'll figure it out. I have decided that Charlie's like corrupted form, if they have one, would have their eyes be like ripped out essentially, and their like eyes would be like glowing with like sunbeams and stuff. I don't know. It's really hard to explain stuff without showing it as a drawing. I don't have anything else on the slideshow. Yeah, you designed your character in the process of becoming corrupted. It was so cool. It looked so good, guys. I wish I could show it. Do you have a drawing of it you could shoot me so I could show it on stream if you wouldn't mind? You don't have to show it if you don't want to, but I think it's a really cool way to show the concept. You want to draw it? You're not ooped. It's okay. I'll try to draw it to show you guys what I mean, and then maybe Cord would be so kind to fan art. Yeah, you can send, yippee! Alright, before I end the stream then, I will show Cord's beautiful drawing of their corrupted form, because I think it's really cool, and I think it shows the general process of corruption better than I can explain it. Because theirs is like mid-corruption. For Wildborn, I think corruptions, like, they would be more animalistic versions of themselves. Like, imagine, like, a werewolf mid-transformation, but for animals that aren't wolves, essentially. Let me know when you've sent it, Cord. I don't think I have notifications on, so I don't think I'll be able to see when you send it. Let me see if I can get Discord up so I can show it. If it's on Discord. I don't know where you're sending it. Okay, you sent it. Never mind. Yeah. Yippee! Okay, oh my god, it's so cool. I forgot how cool it was. Let me save that, and then I'll show it on stream. Yippee! Oh, it's so cool, guys. I forgot how cool it looks. It's actually so awesome. What the hell? Claude's showing me up, y'all. They're so good at drawing. It's so cool. Okay, let me see if I can get this up here. Okay, let me full screen that, and as an image I will plop it. Let me move out the way. Let me move out the way so you guys can see this coolness. Boop, boop. Okay, there we go. And then let me change this to not that one. Let me show it. Done. There you go. Okay, there is the image. Isn't that so cool? Ah, it's so freaking cool. But yeah, this is their like corrupted form. I'm sure you can see better now like what it's meant to be, if you know what I mean. Like it's so cool, like how it's more like owl-esque, and then it's like, and essentially corruptions are meant to like envelop your soul and personality. They're meant to take over. I think it's so cool. I love like the feathery texture. Oh, it's so cool, right guys? Look how cool this is. You're essentially meant to look more like scared and taken over by the parts of yourself that are more intense, I guess. Especially if you're like a wildborn, it's very like taken over by like your animalistic nature, essentially. Like, yeah, that did not sound how I wanted it to sound, whatever. But yeah, you're like taken over by how you feel, and you like all your fear kind of kicks in at once, if that makes sense. So that's essentially what a corruption is. This is Chord's one, the only drawing of a corruption, because they put more effort into their magical girl designs than I do. I draw myself a lot, but I keep changing my design, so I just draw my like basic design over and over again. But yeah, I really want to make my like partly corrupted form as a toggle for my new like PNGTuber thing I got here, because I think that'd be really cool to have like a toggle of getting corrupted. So yeah. Yes, W Chord, everyone give some love to Chord. Their design's so cool. Everyone, shout out to Chord. Go follow them on wherever. What do you use most, Chord? Plug your socials now. Add your socials here, because they make the coolest art and you should all go check them out. Yeah, let's go chat. Give some love to Chord. While you're at it, let me plug everyone else. Follow MC Quartz. He streams on Twitch and YouTube, but YouTube's laggy, so go watch Twitch. He has some cool redeems there. While I'm at plugging people, also follow Sue. They're my con partner at Suyuki on Instagram. Go to my Instagram, and then there's a link to them in there because we're tabling together at Evolve. Go follow them too. Everyone's so awesome. But yeah, look at Chord's beautiful drawing. I can't, y'all. It's so cool. Look at this. Look how good this is. You're all so awesome. Shout out to everyone. Everyone plug your socials if you want. I don't mind. There's like 5 people here, so yeah. It made you feel more comfortable on stream. That's good. I'm glad. Yeah, I used to be like really, really scared about chatting in streams, but you know, now I'm streaming, so. Yee, first time on my stream, let's go. I don't stream too much. I stream maybe once a week because I am also anxious and I get scared. And my Instagram, let's go Sue. Let's go. Being a great mod. But yeah, we all anxious little beans here. We all anxious little beans. It's nice to have people though. I like having anyone in my chat. I don't care if you feel like you're anxious or awkward. Any single person in my chat, it's well appreciated. And it's nice to have people to talk to. I love different opinions and fun little things going on. Let's go. Nah, it's okay. You don't have to talk like when you're uncomfortable, but you're more than welcome to chat here. Oh, my favorite Sailor Moon character. Oh, it's been a long time since I watched Sailor Moon, but I have to say Sailor Uranus because they're also canonically non-binary, and I love them very much. You know, canonically non-binary lesbian has to be my favorite character. I'm very, very predictable. But yeah, Sailor Uranus is my fave. That is how you pronounce it. I don't want any funny business in the chat, alright? All of you, calm down. I can feel your fingers typing away right now. It's Sailor Uranus. I will not hear anything else of it. Anyway, I have two figures of them. No, Cord, shut up. Cord, shut up. Right now, we have no funny business in this chat, alright? Alright. Yeah, alright. Get it out there, all of you. You silly goobers. Yeah, whoops, you clicked space. That was totally an accident. Yes, MC. We all believe you. It's definitely an accident. Alright then, is there anything else anyone wants to talk about in chat before we end stream for today? It's been almost 2 hours, which is kind of my typical streaming time anyway, and I definitely didn't expect to be talking this long about Magical Girls, so yeah. I'm gonna have a lot of editing to do if I want this to be a video later. Oopsies. But, oh well. Do you mind if I keep this in the background while I yap, Cord? I hope you don't mind too much. I hope it's not too bad. If you want me to switch back, I can, but I kind of like having your thing in here. It looks so good. It's so cool. I hope you are as proud of it as I am, because it's so awesome. You've done such a good job, and I'm very proud of you. It is so cool. A happy cherry face? What's a cherry face? Oh, cheery. I am silly. I am silly. I am a silly. I did not read that properly. Oh, you don't mind? Yippee! I like having it in the background. It's so cool. Yippee! It is the coolest art. Guys, Cord's art style, may I just say, they have such a nice art style. We're gonna have a couple of prints of theirs at our table when we go to this convention. And if anyone's in Perth area, if anyone's going to Evolve, then you guys should come check us out, because we have some of their very cool prints and their art style is so good. They drew Mac, and I had to convince them to let us sell their print because I thought their Mac was so cool and I thought they deserved to be at a convention, but since they don't live near us, they cannot. So we decided that we're going to have a couple of their prints at our table. So if anyone's nearby, if anyone's going to Evolve, you should come buy one of their prints because they're awesome. Yeah. Me using my stream to just plug Cord's art. I love their art so much. It's so cool. I love painterly styles so much. I mean, I love most art styles, but yeah. Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say for today. So yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. I better go now before I start blabbing about anything else. But yeah. Embarrassing? No, you're awesome. Don't be embarrassed. Take the complimentos. My favorite magical girl anime / show. Okay. One more question before I go then. Ooh, this is a hard one. My favorite anime is Madoka Magica. My favorite not magical girl one would just be Cyberpunk Edge Runners. My favorite magical girl I have like a lot of magical girl inspired shows that I like. Bee and Puppycat would be one of my favorites. And then I also really like Steven Universe, which is very magical girl inspired. My favorite piece of media that's magical girl inspired is Prism, which is by Ginger Ninja, which I think you said you know, Azalea? Sorry. There. My brain. It's not braining today. But yeah, I think you said you know Ginger Ninja OWO on YouTube, and Prism, which is their magical girl thing, is one of my absolute biggest inspirations. I like it a lot. Is there anything else? Steven Universe, Bee and Puppycat. When I was young, I really liked Miraculous Ladybug, which is very magical girl inspired. Not so much anymore, but we don't talk about that show right now. You should yap with Kay on Insta because Kay is so lonely. Rude. Don't out me like that. I totally don't spend all day complaining about not having any friends. I would never do that. I totally don't go about complaining that no one who likes Deltarune or Undertale or Steven Universe or everything I like. I totally don't go around complaining that barely anyone talks to me about that stuff. Definitely don't do that. That would be weird and lonely and desperate. MC yesterday told me that Kay is desperate for friends. That's one of the things I remember. Yeah, MC keeps outing me for being desperate about friends. It's not that I don't have friends. It's that I want more friends and I want to talk about the things that I want to talk about. And sometimes you can't talk about Jinx for the millionth time to your only 3 friends. So, like, you know. I feel outed. You know, there's only so much times Sue and Cord can listen to me talk about Jinx before it gets sad. He's jealous about their siblings' friends. I'm not jealous that they have friends. I'm jealous that they make friends so easily and that people talk to them about the things they like so much. Like, I go to TAFE and there are only super basic people there. No one talks to me about Arcane or Steven Universe or anything interesting. Everyone talks about traveling and football. What am I meant to do with that? And my sibling Charlie goes to TAFE and then they make like 6 friends who all like the same things as them. All their friends like Steven Universe and Minecraft and fun things. Their friends even like Bee and Puppycat. Charlie doesn't even like Bee and Puppycat, but they made friends who do. Their friends like all the dorky things I like, and it's sad. Teta profile pic. I love Miku. I'm so basic because like me and Sue both like Miku, and for a bit I was like, yes, someone whose favorite is Miku, which one of their faves is still Miku. But now they also like Gumi, which is like a more unique choice than Miku, and the only one I truly like is Miku. So I'm still basic, but you know, when Miku's your fave, Miku's your fave. The pink and blue will not escape me. Oh, you saw my Miku art! Yippee! Aw, thank you. I'm super proud of that drawing. It's one of my favorites. I love drawing Miku so much. I would draw only Miku if I could, but I cannot just fill up mine and Sue's table with Miku and Jinx because that would get sad. No one is gonna buy 70 prints of just Jinx and Miku, but I would if I could. I want to draw more Miku. But yeah. Anyway, before we keep talking about how desperate and lonely I am. Aw, thank you. You guys are too nice. I wish that Miku drawing had more likes. It's one of my favorites. Some of my drawings, like my old ones that are really bad, have like 100 likes. And then my new ones that I actually like and I actually think are good have like 40 at most. It's so sad. Where are all the people when I need them? Oh well, like my old Inktober drawings that are very quick and not very good have so many more likes. It's so sad. Oh well, I will not dwell on that one too much. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying. I was gonna say something else. Aw, thank you. I try not to post like a crazy amount on Instagram because I get self-conscious and I don't want to post every single thing I draw. But I like posting some sketches from my sketchbook occasionally and then whatever finished ones I make for cons. I don't really post too much of my con merch, like my chibis or anything, but maybe I should. I think I will on my like business Instagram. If you guys haven't seen it, KU, it's mine and Sue's like business account for conventions and stuff to make like announcements and show off merch and whatnot. So if you want to see any of my like chibis or anything, it'll be over there. But yeah, that's all I really have to say for today. It's been 2 hours, so that's the usual stream. I know I was wrapping it up before, but then I got distracted I'm an ADHD yapper, so if you want me to keep streaming, then just like distract me for 5 seconds and I'll completely forget that I was ending stream. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for linking our Instagram, Sue, you're the best. Yeah, if you guys want to follow us on that Instagram, feel free to. And that's all I have to say for today. Thanks for linking that too. And thank you all so much for watching. And yeah, I have ADHD. I don't know if that's pretty obvious, but I have ADHD and autism, so yeah, let's go. ADHD, autism, the ultimate distractible combo of hyperfixation and loneliness. Yeah, like scatterbrain, exactly. But yeah, before I keep talking, I'm gonna go. The ADHD distraction is real. Got that spicy brain, true. Oh, you have ASD, let's go! Fellow ASD. Yeah. That's it. That's all I have to say. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to my mods, Cord, MC, and Sue. You're all the best. Thank you, Azalea, for watching. You're the best too. Yeah, if you want to talk more, feel free to message me on Instagram for chatting. And then, like, if you just want to chat with me, I would be more than happy to talk on Instagram and everything. And if you want to talk on stream, you can always catch me next week. Probably Friday or Saturday, depends on when MC streams. I always stream on whatever day MC's not, but I've claimed either Friday or Saturday. So whichever one he doesn't stream, I take. Yeah, but that's it for today. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye! Well, sorry about that. Hee hee. Stop calling each other stinky. Bye again.